Well, if you're a faithful viewer here on Oklahoma Gardening, you've seen us talk many times about green manure crops or cover crops. And here we are in the first of fall, and now is a great time to put a fall cover crop on any of our beds that are going to be vacant during the growing season this winter. Now, a cover crop is actually a crop that you plant strictly for soil conditioning or to improve the texture or add any organic matter. And there's several things that you can use during the winter time, such as Austrian peas, hairy vetch, and even some of our grain crops such as rye grain, wheat, and even barley. And here in our plot we've got about 1,000 square feet area where our pumpkins once were, and we're going to put in some Austrian peas. And that's what we've got here in our bucket. And the Austrian peas, again, are a legume. And in the past on the show you've also seen us inoculate the seed with the bacterium, trying to get a good stand and help that seed get going. And as you can see, it's very coarse here. And we're going to use about 1 3/4 or anywhere from 1 to 2 pounds per 1,000 square feet. But this time we're not going to inoculate our seed because we've planted in here several times and we feel like we've got a lot of good bacteria and soil organisms to help our seed out. Plus, just like you do, we like to save a little money every now and then in our gardening as well. Now you can actually plant it by hand just by spreading it after you've measured it out. And several times you've seen me talk about this little whirlybird spreader, and it will work as well. Just make sure you open it to the largest setting, and as you can see, it will scatter the seed for you quite well. And just make sure you've worked up your soil bed like we've done here. This is our second time we've tilled it. And just scatter your seed out. Again, measure it out ahead of time. And then once you get your seed in, just come in and rake it lightly just so you'll get a little bit of soil contact with that seed. And then of course, after we've got it raked in, we'll water our area to get a good germination. Now we mentioned hairy vetch, and I've got some of that in this bag here. And it's a little bit smaller seed than our Austrian pea, but again we'll use around 1 to 2 pounds per 1,000 square feet. And in our area over here where we had our winter squash, we'll be putting in some hairy vetch. Eventually we'll be harvesting our sweet potatoes and pulling up our peppers and tomatoes and planting some there. And then also this year in our raised beds that are vacant, we're going to put in some Austrian peas there as well. So again, during the next 3 to 4 weeks is a great time to put in your cool season cover crops or green manure crops. And as our germinates, we'll come back and keep you informed on how things are going.
We hope you've enjoyed this classic from the Oklahoma Gardening Vault. Remember, even though these tips and techniques are timeless, there's always something new to learn in the world of gardening. By subscribing to both Oklahoma Gardening and OK Gardening Classics, you'll have access to a wealth of gardening knowledge, both classic and contemporary.